Hello, everybody. Today I actually have good news for you because the Polish do something about the social media censorship mania. The Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has announced that there is a freedom of speech law in the making that's probably coming out in January. His Justice Minister Zbigniew Ziobro is working on it, and it hands out hefty fines against social media companies who do not uphold freedom of speech and who delete posts that are not breaking the laws and who try to ban users who are not in any way criminal. If a poll gets banned from social media, he has the right to complain to the platform, and the platform has to respond within 24 hours. And if his post or his status is not reestablished, that can go to a newly created free speech council. The proposal so far suggests that the members of the free speech councils will be appointed for 6 years or for a 6 year term. And it will also be a three-fifth majority, so that the opposition is likely to have a say in who gets appointed to that council. They will then have large powers over doling out the fines, which can be very heavy if the social media companies has been found out to act arbitrarily. The fines can vary from 50,000 zloty to 50 million zloty. That's between $13,300 US dollar at the moment to 13,300,000 US dollar. The law will create a second pathway for the user if he is banned or his post is deleted, and that will be a court petition. So people who have their post banned, they can petition electronically on the internet to a judge, a full judge, and he will respond within 7 days whether his post has been indeed legal and force the company to restore the writing. The law is still in a draft status, and I don't know how it will look like exactly when it's rolled out in January. But from my reading, I understand that you have the right to complain to the company immediately if something goes wrong, and then Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, whoever is banning your post, they have to respond within 24 hours. Then you go to the judge, or then you send something to a real judge, and he will review your case, and he will look if your post is legal or not. You get the answer within 7 days, and if Facebook, Twitter, whoever still bans your post and does not reinstate your status, your account or whatever is limited, then it goes to this Freedom of Speech Council, and that can dole out hefty fines against the social media companies. And that is an extremely smart way to go about these things, because Germany was putting pressure on the social media platforms with their NetzDG law introduced by the current Foreign Minister Heiko Maas, who was at the time the Justice Minister. And that law effectively forced the social media companies to create boards where they limit speech, where they are only concerned about not letting out too many words, not letting out too many conversations in the public. So while the Germans punish the social media platforms for letting people speak, the Poles just come from the other side. They say, well, if speech is legal, then restricting it must be punished. So the social media companies will have the pressure from both sides. And what's interesting here is that officially the EU, the Germans, everybody says, pays lip service to the prominence of the law over the arbitrariness of the social media platforms. And you saw this when Angela Merkel, of all people, suddenly came out to denounce the ban of Donald Trump on Twitter. Her argument was not, somebody who says these horrible things shouldn't be allowed to speak. Her argument was that the national laws must prevail. The national laws decide who comes to speak and who doesn't. Of course, Angela Merkel's view is not my view. I believe that freedom of speech is derived from our Creator. It is endowed upon us, and that no government grants us this right. That this is a right against the government, and that if it were up to the lawmakers to decide what we are allowed to opine upon, which is different from, telling secrets like military secrets, but opinions, right? If the government could decide with ordinary law what we are supposed to speak and not to speak, then there would not be any human rights restriction, or you would not need Amnesty International or anything, because ordinary laws are always allowing what the respective governments in all these different countries want. So China would suddenly be just as human rights compatible as the United States, because they have laws. They are ordinary laws, and they just decide what people can speak and what they can't speak. So Angela Merkel's line, and also the line of the EU officials of a lot of countries around the world, is that there is no absolute right to speech. The human rights are actually irrelevant. It's something they just pay lip service to when they give some ceremonial speeches. But ultimately, your ordinary law has to decide what people come to speak and what they don't, what they are not allowed to speak. This is their mindset, and the only complaint they actually have is that it's them who decide what people come to speak. It's not Facebook, but them. And the Polish government is so smart to say, well, if that is what you believe, if you believe that the law, your ordinary law, is more important than Facebook, then okay, we just demand the adherence to the law, and we just ask nothing more of the social media platforms than the adherence to the law, which is what you officially say you want. Also, freedom of speech is something that you officially say you want. That's very smart. And it creates a cost for Facebook, Twitter, and all the others coming from both sides. So they have to decide at some point if they rather want to serve a market that upholds freedom of speech, or a market that tries to restrict speech. And I'm sure things would change if Facebook, Twitter, or any of these companies would decide at some point that it's more lucrative to serve Australia, America, if they follow the Polish example, and they should. If they serve these countries, the freedom-loving countries, or if they rather serve China, Russia, or Germany. If Facebook goes out in Germany, if they shut down Facebook in Germany, people will notice, because right now you have all these people who don't pay attention. Social media is heavily demonized in our mainstream media here, but people are using it. And if suddenly they are no longer allowed to tweet and to use Facebook, even though they are hardcore leftists, and the entire system is shut down because Facebook would say it is too expensive to run two systems at the same time, to make sure that no law is broken, and also to make sure that no posts are deleted if no law is broken. That's too expensive. We just run with one system, okay? We just try to uphold as much speech as possible. Then suddenly some markets would be ditched, and people would wake up, because suddenly the lights go out and they can't communicate as they used to. And a lot of companies, of course, now rely on Facebook and Twitter and so on to market their products. So you cannot just roll back and think, oh yeah, 10 years ago we didn't need it. Well, the competition has access to Facebook and Twitter. And if you want to sell your products internationally, then you don't want Facebook to shut down your place. So what really needs to happen right now is for Canada, for Australia, for New Zealand, for whatever place there can be a so what now needs to happen is that Canada, Australia, New Zealand, America, all places, once they have a conservative majority in the legislative branch, and maybe a president that doesn't veto it, that they immediately follow the Polish example and just create the pressure from this side, from the Polish side, and break up the censorious mindset of the social media platforms right now. That was it for today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.